I love casinos. I wish I didn't. Here's the thing. I bet people who are on crack are like, I really wish that I just never tried crack because it is delicious and I can't not have it now, but I know it's not good for me. That, to my crack, is casinos. I love it. I love when I know I'm going to a casino, I'm happy. At every second I'm at a casino, not every second. Until you start losing, they're like, fuck Disneyland. Happiest place on earth to me is, let's just say, Vegas, but even it doesn't even have to be Vegas. I just went to the Encore, which is outside, or it's almost right in Boston. And it is, first of all, not a sponsor, but first of all, part B, would love to have you as a sponsor, Encore. Got a great place there, and you don't have to pay me. Just give me a room and 10,000 a month in chips, because you'll get probably at least half of it back, if not more. I I had a great time at the Encore. It is beautiful. Like, okay, and there's levels of casino, by the way. Also, I guess I should specify. I've been to, I guess, not all of them. Like, I've never been to Macau. I've never been to uh what's the one in fucking Jersey? God damn it. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. I haven't been there, but I've been to Vegas a lot. And even in Vegas, I have stayed at all of them. Like, the first time I ever went, I stayed at the Venetian with my buddies from here, from that I used to work at a movie theater with. And we went. They're great. I love them, but they go to Vegas, I think, the way most people go to Vegas. Like, oh, let's, we'll walk, we'll eat a little bit, we'll see the sights, be in bed by 11 o'clock. And I went and immediately was like, this is, I don't care about not one other goddamn thing in Vegas. I don't give a fuck about the shows, which are nice. Food, it's good. There are some great things for food there. But even me, it could be, and I've been to some of these, it could be a room next to a boat and RV dealership in Oxnard. Is it in Oxnard? It's right next to Oxnard. I can't remember the name. It is a shithole in California. But all I need is gambling. All I need is gambling and the bankroll to support it, and you will never see me again. What the fuck is I'm not remembering anything these days. Atlantic City's the first one. Got there. I've never been to Atlantic City, so but there's something I don't remember. I think I probably started with slots, which, by the way, suck. If I wasn't on slots this weekend, I'd be up right now. Which my mom is funny because she hates gambling too. Which, by the way, if you are a gambler, what you need in your life is, and I'm not even just gonna say women. You just need people in your life that hate gambling and that will pull you tooth and nail fighting from the table, and then you'll win because they take you away. And you're like, no, but I just want to stay, which is a mistake. It's a trap. But she always says, oh, gamblers are always, I would have won, but just one thing, and that it's the truth. If I had left when I was up, I'd be a multimillionaire, but I would have been I would have known the secrets to the gambling world. I do a lot with my hands. I rotate them, and it's a very masculine rotate, just so you know. But there's something about a table game that is like, I don't really have like hobbies. I don't really have activities, but there's something about being at a table game when it's going well that I'll put up there against anything in the world, happiness wise. And honestly, it isn't even. It's about the money, but it doesn't. The coolest. I don't know if it's cool. The most amount of money I've seen at a table was at the Stratosphere in Vegas. I was playing blackjack, and this dude came down and like took out like the wrapped up thing of $10,000 and $100 bills, and just threw it on the table, and they had to count it out. And it was kind of a dick move because you could probably just go to the cage and have them do it, and it slowed it down. But it was an inspiring moment. Like I'm trying to get on your level, sir, because that's the way the casinos trick you. I am the idiot that I could sit there all day, hours. My first time in Vegas, I stayed up literally. I was sharing a room with my two friends, and who, by the way, I'd basically abandoned because they wanted to walk up and down the strip all day, like through. And the annoying part about Vegas is it's like how grocery stores put milk at the back to make you walk through it. In Vegas, you can't just walk straight up and down the strip. They make you walk through casinos, and all the casinos have malls, and it's windy. And I was really fat, and I had legit had blisters on the bottom of my feet after the first day. And my friends didn't want to gamble. They didn't want to take a break to gamble, do any of that. So I just left them, and I stayed. I was out. I was at the Venetian Blackjack all night, had breakfast with them, and then went back to the room to nap for a little bit. But I was so hyped up that I couldn't sleep. Being at a table, because I'm not a very social person. I wish I was, but I kind of clam up. But there's something about that. You don't know them. You're all there to do the same thing. You're probably never going to see these people again, although you do see them around the casino while you're there. But when the dealer busts at a full table, and like people are like, I've legit like high-fived people. I'm gonna fully get into it, but that, by the way, what happened at the Stratosphere is my dream, is my goal, is to have that 10,000 to bet. And I might have already said that. I don't remember because I've done this like 800 times. But here's what I think people don't understand about a casino, because I get it. I get the bad. Let's start with the bad, I guess, to get that out of the way. It can be a very sad place. It can be a very sad place, especially the cheap ones with like the one I went to it's right next to Oxnard. It's not Oxnard. It's like a card room. They don't have any slots. They have like a couple blackjack tables. And it's right in between car dealerships and an RV/boat dealership. And like there's also something that you'll see at casinos at the cashier where like you go to turn your chips in and get cash back. There's like they have like a paycheck loan advance line where people are going in there to get, like, to take a payday advance loan out. They have Coinstar there where you can turn your coins into money for chips. That is not good. And that part I obviously don't like. I saw a dude. I used to go to the Bicycle Casino in LA, which is not a great area. And I was walking in. I had two stories there. This one is I was walking in, and this woman is storming out, and this guy's like running after her, like, my phone. I was at work. It wasn't working. I promise. And like you just know that, like, in my head, he's been missing for days. Hasn't seen his kids. They're behind on the like. There's a lot of negatives that could come with gambling. I'm not saying it's all perfect at all. And by the way, the second story I have about that casino is, and it's in the papers, it got temporarily closed for some alleged issues, which I won't get into because I don't want to be sued. But you can look it up. I don't know what the result was. I'm just telling what really happened to me. I pulled up one night. Feel like it was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. It was a little late. And I go to turn into the parking lot, and there's a dude in there out there. There's like a white van blocking the entrance, and a dude, I don't know, I don't remember what, if he had something on his jacket or just told me like, no, we're closed. It's not happening tonight. And if you look, God, it was probably 3 to 5 years ago, I would say. It got shut down by I believe it was the FBI. It was some sort of law enforcement, very briefly, for some issues. I don't know if they were with the people who worked there or people who went gambling there. I don't know the full story, but that was the type of place I was going. I was being turned away. But if you can do it responsibly, like I'll go over, I have a couple rules, but if you can do it responsibly, I don't think there's anything wrong with the casino. I think it's fucking heaven on earth. I love it. Here's a rule that I think you need to make, or that I would recommend you make. No ATM card at the casino. That's a rule that I think is a good rule for everyone. I go to the bank. I zero. If there's 100 days, I'm 0 out of 100 days having cash on me. I have whatever cash I have left over from the last time I was forced to get cash, like months ago. But at casinos, before I go, I will go to the ATM and I get not money I want to lose and not money I'm happy to lose, but money that I'm somehow convinced myself is okay to lose. Because I've broken that rule a couple times about bringing a debit card. And when you go to the casino ATMs, that's not a good sign. Because, it was like, I feel like it's like a $10 fee. And you're like, well, my bank returns that fee. You know what? They don't return thousands of dollars. So rule number 1 of a casino, don't bring your ATM card. Take whatever you want and bring it with you. I stuck to this rule so much that one time I remember I lost all of my money that I brought, and it was this time, and I had a flight like the next day, and I actually changed it to fly out of Vegas on a Saturday night, because I was like, I'm going to be sitting in this freaking casino with nothing to do, and I'm going to break my going to the ATM rule. So I switched to Southwest. No one's leaving Vegas on a Saturday night. I remember I lost $800, and I was pissed. I was pissed. I have a few stories about this, actually. I'm going to tell you all the negative stories and then tell you what I love about it. So this one, lost $800. I go to the airport. I'm flying Southwest. Who leaves Vegas 8 o'clock on a 6 o'clock, something on a Saturday night. There's one dude ahead of me at the TSA. We're talking as we go through. This dude lost $8,000 and was thrilled about it. He had a blast. He was at like a bachelor party. He was talking about strip clubs, and we went and got a beer. I don't drink beer. Went and got a beer at an airport bar right when you pass through security, and then we went home. And it made me feel better. It made me feel better that he lost $8,000 to my $800, but that it's an important rule that this is one other time, and this is a rule that kind of relates to that. You can't get emotional, because like 800 was like my number that I was like, okay, it's not quite 1,000, but it's a good amount. I can bring that for a weekend, and if I lose it, I lose it. And I've lost a few $1,000, I would say, probably over my 10-year career. Maybe 4. Who knows? I really don't keep track. But one time I went and I was going to stay for 2 days, and I went and I got emotional about it, and I started adjusting my bet, and I started betting like $300 a hand after I lost a couple hundred, and I lost everything in like 3 hours. I walked back on the strip to my shitty casino, and I literally had not even, I'd been in the room to throw my bags in. I had a $25 food credit. It was a shitty place. I remember I got a pizza, and I just got my bag with the pizza, went back into my car, and drove home that night. And as I was walking back, I forgot about this part. As I was walking back to the casino on the strip, I was just taking my players' cards and just throwing them in the trash cans on the strip, because I was like, I'm never gambling again. This is bullshit. And I drove back that night. Actually, I've had a couple of these moments. Oh wow, forgot about this. Vegas was not the first time I was in a casino. Before I moved to LA full time, I interned out there for the summer. And I found Hollywood Park Casino, which used to be a shithole. Still not a great area. They've redone it. It's nicer. It's still kind of a shithole. But I was playing blackjack, and I remember this one woman was playing $100 a hand, I think, on like the whole table. And she would get pissed. Like, she was playing the whole table because I saw some people try to sit next to her, and she would get pissed. And we can get to that a little bit, because if you break the unwritten rules, people will get mad at you. And I know everything I'm saying is reasons why you shouldn't love it, but it's all reasons that I do. But I lost $300, and I was an intern. I was still in college. I was like, I don't have this money. I was like, $300 would have bought me a PS4, which I didn't have. So, like, you know what? Went out and got a PS4. And the first time I quit gambling. The second time I threw the cards. And the third time I quit gambling wasn't really even on purpose. Gambling is definitely an addiction. And I have to be very careful with it. Now, and I know I'm talking about how much I love it, but I definitely have to be careful of it, because the last time I quit gambling wasn't even really a quitting. It's just I didn't even have the urge to do it anymore. It got to the point right before I started comedy where I was doing scratch tickets once a day. Not a lot, $5-10, but it's like I don't think I've ever gotten more than 10. Might have gotten a 20 or 50 once, but I've never gotten a good score on a scratch ticket, and I always think it's gonna be. When I get a scratch ticket, I see you could win $150,000 a year for life. I'm like, oh, well, what am I gonna do with this $150K a year? I start planning it out immediately. But when I first started doing comedy, the adrenaline that comedy gave me replaced gambling, and I didn't really gamble at all. So much to the effect that when I opened for Joey at the Wilbur a few years ago, we did Foxwoods the night before, and I gambled for like 20 minutes, and it just didn't have that shine for me, because I think that's what gambling really is the adrenaline rush. But I went this weekend, and it reminded me of things that I do love about it. Especially when you go to a nice one. And by the way, the Encore, this is not a sponsor. They're never gonna sponsor me. I wonder why. But it is very nice. It's in a shitty part of town. No offense to Everett. But it's beautiful. I'm not very the word is bougie, I guess. I like nice things, but like, I'll stay in a La Quinta. I've stayed in worse. I'll stay at a Motel 6. That's kind of gross. I'm not going to lie. Super 8 is a little bit more my style. But I think something that frustrates me about other places is when you're paying a lot of money and they fuck up. Like, I went to a steak place. I went to go see Ryan Sickler. I think I mentioned this on last week's episode. But I went to go see Sickler last week. And we went and got this very expensive meal. And it was good. The food was really good. But the service really wasn't that great. And it wasn't that bad. It just was really slow. And they messed up. They brought the wrong side dish. We got ordered a twice baked potato, and they brought a regular baked potato. Is it the biggest deal? No. But when you stay at a nice casino, the level of service makes you happy to lose money. I lost money, but they deserve it. First of all, it's brand new, the Encore. I don't know how many years old it is, but it looks amazing. The room we didn't. I don't believe we got. It was a. I think it was a Valentine's Day gift for me. Yeah, it was a Valentine's Day gift. So I don't know exactly how much the room cost, but they're kind of expensive now. But the room was beautiful. But the thing is, and I think my girlfriend knows it now. If we're gonna go away, it shouldn't be to a casino because I will spend 0 minutes in the room. I don't need a room. But we went to dinner and we weren't really feeling like, if you didn't know, casinos have a large Asian clientele. And because of that, they oftentimes have really good Asian food of like a bunch of different kinds: Thai, Chinese, Japanese. They have really good Asian food because they have a lot of Asian people who come to gamble. And we weren't really in the mood for that. So there's this brewery there, and we ordered an appetizer and an entree at the same time. And luck would have it that they came out. Literally, it wasn't like the appetizer came out and then the entrees. They literally followed each other out. And I'm really not a complainer. I will change a table because I don't like being sat down right next to someone else, and I don't like if I put my arm down and the table moves, it's like an itch in my brain that I can't stop. So I will move a table, but I very rarely complain it's not really a complaint, it's just like I don't want to sit there. I didn't complain, but I was just like, hey, do you mind can they make another one and bring it out? It was a steak tip, so I did say that. I did say, like, I was like, can we have the appetizer first? And she's like, oh yeah, we can put it under the heat lamp. I was like, well, could we not put a steak under the heat lamp? Because I don't really feel like having beef jerky. I didn't say I don't feel like having beef jerky, but that was what my soul was saying. And my waiter was a fellow person who likes to eat, so he understood. He was like, no, we're not gonna put it under the heat lamp. It's gonna be fine. And legit within 3 minutes of just saying, hey, do you mind if we just, I didn't get mad. I didn't even say really anything. The manager and then my waiter, who wasn't part of the team who brought it over, both came over and apologized. And it's like, that's what I feel like is the difference, because if you go some places, like, they like to people make excuses, or if they even acknowledge a mistake at all. When as a server, and I learned this as a server too, when you apologize or just acknowledge that something was fucked up, at least with me, as long as it's not like over and over and over again, it's like the first thing, I'm gonna give you more of a tip. I love you. So they couldn't have been nicer about it. They brought out new food. The food was delicious, and we walked around, and it's like I said, if you like to gamble, what you need, and this is the service that you should do if you're looking for a job, be a what is it called? Like a casino babysitter. Because if left to my own devices, I would still be at the table, not eating. I'd go and get something at the food court, sleep. Who needs sleep? Shower. I don't care about showers. But when you go with someone, at least I do. When I go with someone, I feel like responsible for them. So I don't. My girlfriend literally fell asleep in the daytime, like the next morning, standing behind me on my chair. She had her arm rested on the chair, her head rested on her hand. So I played like two shoes, but because of that, I was up. I made like $160 in like an hour and a half, and I left. And that is something I would never ever do. I'm not leaving a casino until they take every last cent that I have. But if you haven't been, and again, I get it, money is an issue. If you go to some casinos, like look it up, call the casino. They at least they used to in Vegas. Who knows if they still have it? Like at Hooters, they had $1 blackjack table, like $1. What that means is you have to bet at least $1 a hand. Probably now they don't have that anymore. Probably might be $5 or $10 a hand, might even be 15. The problem with blackjack is that can go very quickly. That's why, going back to one of my rules, you can't get emotional because the way to play is like betting the same thing every time. And it is actually a good idea to put a timer on it, because the problem with blackjack is, and I forget the number, I think it's like 51% to 49% is like the lowest advantage that the house has over you is like 2%, something like that. And that's the lowest if you play perfectly and everyone at the table plays perfectly. So the more you play, you're going to lose eventually. You have to get in there and hope you hit a lucky streak, which I've done a couple times, one in particular that I'll tell you about. But it's good to set a timer, because if you don't leave, you're going to get stuck and sucked in, and one more hand. It's like TikTok, but it's one more hand, $15 more, $15 more, and then suddenly that win that you had, now you're down, and then you're betting $100 trying to win it back, and it's a shitty game to play. But that's one very important thing, is the time. The other important thing, and this is me, the dealer is key at the casino. The best run I ever had in blackjack, I wasn't staying at, but I believe it was at Caesars. It was either Caesars or MGM. And might have been MGM. And this cool middle-aged dude was there. And I don't normally like playing by myself at a table, but I just got a good vibe from him. Sometimes, like, a lot of dealers, they're either tired and I know they don't get paid a lot, which we'll get into something that I recommend as well. But sometimes they're really fast, or they're not really fun to play with, and that sucks. I don't play with those people. But this dude was like an older dude, and we were by him, and we were just chatting, and he started telling me to bet more, and I turned $100 into over 1,000. I hit blackjack after blackjack after blackjack. It was a magical night, and I should have left. I never had a night that big before, and I went and I played. I stayed. I was staying at the Mandalay Bay, and the Mandalay Bay has like a shuttle between the Luxor and maybe New York. I forget what the other one is. And it goes until 2 a.m. And had I left by 2, I would have been up that $1,000. But stupidly, I didn't, and I left, and I was walking back. But like I said earlier, how Vegas makes you walk through casinos. Now that I didn't have that stupid shuttle, and I should have taken a fucking Uber or a cab, I got caught literally in like a table they had set up in between casinos, and I lost $500 in like 30 minutes. But I still had that 500, so I was still very happy about it. But a dealer is very important. You want a dealer that's not too fast, because they want you to play as many hands as possible. Fuck you, relax. Like there's a casino, I don't remember what it was, but they have like sexy blackjack dealers. Fuck them. You want older, not too attractive, and funny. And I don't know, I feel like you can tell. You can look someone in their soul, be like, is this person gonna have a good time? And helpful. If I see them like not talking, I'm not gonna go there, because let me show you what I have. This is the level of degenerate that I am. I keep it. Oh, I thought I lost it yesterday. I would have been pissed because I showed it to my friends. I forget what casino I got it at. Look at the, can you even see that? I try not to have my video up because I don't want it to distract me. I don't know if you can see this, but it's frayed or faded. It has literally every possibility of dealer up card and your hand and if you're supposed to hit, double, stay, or surrender. And it has if double after split is not allowed, if double after split is allowed, and it tells you literally, in theory, the right mathematical way to play every hand of blackjack. And you can have this at the table. They usually have it at the gift shop. That goes in my wallet. I didn't pull this out this time because usually, and this is something I like about casinos, I've been accused of being a rule follower for some things. Obviously, I mean, I was high on the internet for a decade. I'm not that much of a rule follower. But, like, expiration dates, cutting in line, like, just like weird little rules like that I like. And one of them, one of the reasons I like going to a casino is gamblers, real ones, stick to that rule. Like, if a dealer is showing a king and you have a 16, you don't want to hit it. You don't. Everything in my body is saying don't hit that, Lee. That's going to be a big one. But if you don't hit it, and even sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself for the good of the table, for the good of the shoe, which is what the cards are in. Because if you don't, like, let's say I don't hit it, and then the dealer gets a 5 that was meant for me, the whole table is going to be pissed. But, like, even if I take it, right, like, let's say I have the 16, the dealer's showing a king, I take it, I bust, I'm out of there. But then the person next to me gets a small one, and then the dealer busts, which wouldn't have happened had I not done that. You feel good. I don't know. I feel good about I'm like, I did something karmically good. People will be happy, and other people at the table usually will help you. Like, you can ask, like, should I double this? Should I split this? And you can tell the more they're drinking, the earlier it is. They know what they're doing. But the dealer will also tell you. Pai Gow is another great one. Pai Gow is fun if you don't like losing money because you play 2 hands of poker at the same time against a dealer playing 2 hands of poker, and there's a 2-card hand and a 5-card hand. If one of your hands, if like your 2-card hand beats the dealer's 2-card hand, but their 5-card hand beats your 5-card hand, then you push. So you can lose one hand, but as long as you win one, you'll push, and then, which means you tie, and your money will last a lot longer. I didn't get to play Pai Gow this time, but blackjack, I've been at a table where after like 2 or 3 times of someone like hitting on and this is another one that's hard. Like, let's say you had a 13 or a 12 and the dealer's showing 3. You're like, I'm going to hit that. I want to get closer to 21. You don't care. You're not trying to get to 21. You're trying to get as close as you can, but the main goal is getting the dealer to bust. That's what you want. And when the dealer's showing a low card, that means, because you have to imagine that their card they're not showing is a 10. And so the lower the card is, you're like, oh, they're going to have to take another card. And then boom, bust city. Everyone wins. That's what you want. You don't want to get 21. That's hard. You want to get as close as you can, but have the dealer bust. And I was at a table where this dude was not hitting where he was supposed to and not staying where he was supposed to. And like, we didn't even have to be said. After like the 3rd or 4th one, everyone at the table just stood up and left. And I think we all went, we didn't know each other. We all went to a different table because that dude is kind of being a dick. And I get it. It's your money. You should be able to play how you want to play, but you're affecting, it really is a microcosm of the world. By not doing what you're supposed to, you're fucking with other people's money. You might win that one hand where you didn't hit it even though you were supposed to, but you're fucking with everyone else because the cards are in a specific order. So and I know this might not sound fun to you, but there's comfort that I find in these rules. And But that's the other thing about casinos that I love, that I was just talking, like, the fact that we all got up and left, the social camaraderie aspect of, I guess, like, I guess I just have to say blackjack table. At a blackjack table is what I imagine. All right, can I bank a joke here? That's a joke. This is the joke I thought of. I know it's not real, but it's a joke. I was gonna say it's like being in the military with someone, which I know is not real. People die. I'm not trying to make light of that, but I'm trying to make a joke here, guys. But the camaraderie that you get, the high fives that you get. You know what I loved about the military? The high fives. But like the happiness when you're winning, when the dealer busts, it just you there's nothing, I don't think, that turns people into faster friends or enemies than gambling. You chat with people, you learn about their lives, you learn about like their happiness, is their sad, because it can be a very sad place. People will be putting their last bit of money down. It's always, because I've been there, when you have no money left, like you have like 4 chips left, and you're like, well, I'm putting it all down, and then you see them lose, and they just walk away. It can be a bummer. It can definitely be a bummer. But I think the thing that I was thinking about it, call it delusional, call it stupid, call it whatever you want. The way I choose to look at casinos is hope and belief. And that gets squished out of you. The old, like basically from 6 on, I don't know. But being an adult, every time someone cuts you off, or someone steals your Amazon package, or you don't hear back from a job you interviewed for 3 times, it's like, oh, the world sucks. Though nothing good's gonna happen. But when I walk into a casino with a pocket full of money, and I sit down at a table and I put that money out there, and they put it out there, and they give me the chips, and they say good luck. In my heart, I wish I could tell. Like I go with the money I'm comfortable, quote unquote, losing. Losing never crosses my mind when I get my chips and I'm playing with them and I'm getting my first bets ready. I'm going with the intent of winning thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. If I had the balls, this is a trick someone who worked at a casino told me that some people do. I can't do this. You can get a marker at some casinos where it's a loan. That's what it is. It's a fancy word for a loan. And I don't know. I've never looked into it. I don't know when you obviously agree to pay it back within a certain amount of time. So like you could walk into a casino with nothing, in theory, and get a marker. I don't know what I'm sure they check your credit. You have to sign whatever it is. But you can get a marker for 10, 15, 50, 100 million, whatever, a big amount of money. And what I was told is you do that, you bet big. Like let's say you take out a $50,000 marker, put 5, 10,000 in the hand down, and in theory, you win 2, 3, 4 times. You take your money back, you pay off the marker, which is you give the casino their money back, and then you play the rest of your trip with the money that you're up from the marker at like your normal rate. Now the reason why I've never done this is because you could, like I've done many times, just get on an unlucky streak, and then that 50 grand is gone, and you're like, well, that's just how people end up homeless in Vegas, because I have no money and they own my life now. So I've never done that, but it's what I wish I could do. And that mentality is addicting. It really, the possibility of walking in, it's like it's the ultimate get rich quick scheme. All I have to do is I sit down at this table, and I'm gonna get a blackjack. I'm gonna get every hand. I'm gonna get a blackjack, and I'm gonna more than double my money. Blackjack, you always get a little bit more. And they bring you free drinks. They at like some of the I don't know if it's shittier, but like some of the local casinos, I've seen people get massages at the table. They have trays of food they'll bring to you. They don't want you to leave that motherfucking seat because they know, in theory, that you're going to lose eventually. But then when you don't lose, like Dana White's talked about being banned from casinos. Ben Affleck's been banned from casinos for winning too much money. People get upset about being banned from Twitter and social media. Please ban me from social media. I would love it. If I start winning too much and I'm not cheating and you ban me from a casino, we're going to go to the Supreme Court because that's what I came here for, is to win and take all of your money, which is never going to happen. But it's fun to have that belief for a quick second. It really is. Not to end, but on a sad note, that when that belief does turn, one of the sadder parts of a casino to me is the slots. I don't recommend ever going to the slots. The thing I don't like about casinos, the biggest thing I don't like, is when people don't, that belief that I have that I'm going to win turns off now. It's sort of, I never smoke cigarettes. I have smoked cigars occasionally. The day after a cigar, I'm like, ooh, I should have the nicotine works. I'm like, ooh, I should have another one. And if you can hold off on that, slowly the desire fades and stops. The saddest part about casinos for me is when you see people who are older just sitting at the slots all day in like a wheelchair, oxygen tank, and they're just throwing. I don't want anyone to throw their money, their life savings away. That is not fun. It's sort of like with me, I used to get a little frustrated with like my credit card company and the fast food places. Well, mainly the credit card company. The amount of times I went to fast food places in a week, someone from Capital One should have called me and be like, Lee, are you okay? You went to McDonald's and spent $20, which is hard to do, 3 times this week. And that same day you went to Taco Bell, and then you went and got Chinese food. Like but they don't care because you're paying them. So that's what I would love to have a casino be like, hey man, they all have those things. Be responsible. If you have a problem gambling, call this number, and it's just them on the other line. Like, I heard a third mortgage isn't that bad. It's real safe. But they won't. No one's ever going to stop you from coming in. So that just taking back, you need someone, whether it be a friend, someone you're dating or married to, or a new business I'm starting, casino babysitters. You need someone to pull you out. And it sucks, and you don't want to, you're going to get mad at them. You're like, no, let me just stay. Well, why can't you're being a bummer. Why can't I just stay? But then when you have the money later, like, this is a new feeling. Because oof. The only time you win, and this is where I'll leave, and it's a fucked up thing that casinos do. The first time you go to a casino, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10. The first time most people go gambling, and I experienced it, is you win. I won like $800 the first time I went to the casino. Oh, not the first. Sorry, the first time I went to Vegas with those friends from the movie theater. And the time that I left early, I think, I'm almost positive, was I went back like a month later, and I was like, listen, I'm going to get a cheap flight. I'm going to stay at the cheapest hotel because my friends wanted to stay at an expensive one. And all my winnings basically got cut out by paying my friends back for the trip. So I was like, I'm going to stay at a cheap place. I'm going to go, and this is my new career. I'm going to be a gambler. And then you lose it. So the first time you go to a casino, there's something, you have a chip inside of you that the casino can see and like give this guy or gal or person good hands. Because almost everyone that I know who goes for the first time wins, and it's how they get you. But And I know you're like, Lee, wasn't this supposed to be all the things you love about a casino? I think that's what true love is, isn't it? It's like seeing the faults and the things you don't like about something and loving it anyways. Like I said, I wish at the beginning of this, I wish I didn't love it. I wish that right now I didn't want to like close, boom, hit done at 8:22 on Sunday night and run to the casino and be like, let's just live here now. And I can't, but it's nice to think about. I was gonna say maybe one day. Hopefully I don't end up living at a casino and gambling. It would, if there's any professional gamblers. You know what? I have a buddy, Adam Johnson. I'm almost positive that's your name. Is a stand-up comic that I know from LA. I'm gonna have to reach out to him because he is a professional poker player, which is smart. That's the one you're supposed to be professional at because you're playing against other people, not the actual casino, and there's a chance, like it's more skill than just blackjack. But the problem with poker is it's boring. Everything that I said I liked about blackjack, I hate about. I played one blackjack, one poker tournament, and it wasn't even like wasn't like a World Series. It was like one you pay $25 to sit down at the Mandalay Bay or wherever it was, and the table went, like, some guy lied to me. Like, I sat down, I'm used to a blackjack. I'm talking with everyone. I'm like, hey, this is my first time doing this. Like, I'm trying to yuck it up, and this one guy's like, oh, yeah, me too. We're chatting. He gets it, and people are recognizing him. He was basically trying to be a ringer, I guess. He was trying to trick me. But people don't talk. They don't. This one dude, I was bluffing. I just stayed in because I was like, I paid $30. I have a certain amount of chips. I don't really care. I was bluffing. He was mad. He was like, tell me what you have. Like, yeah, you have this, don't you? Because he couldn't. If you don't know, people in poker, they do like the math where they're like, okay, these are what cards are in the deck. These are what cards I see. These are the only other possibilities that you have. So me staying in didn't make sense to him. But he was being smart, and I got him to fold, and I wouldn't tell him what I had, and he was like angry. I'm like, this is just sad all over poker to me. There was, I'm sure winning is great with poker, but poker versus blackjack, not even close. It's like chocolate milk versus Yoo-hoo, and I know, Joey, you love Yoo-hoo. You're wrong. It's chocolate water, and it stinks. That's poker. It's at the casino, and it's supposed to be fun, but it stinks. You want the chocolate milk. You want blackjack. It's fun until you lose money. But until you lose money, when you're winning or just even pushing, it is fantastic. So if you haven't been to a casino and you're 21 and you can afford it, the same thing I was saying last week about comedy, don't be afraid. It's a blast. If you can keep it under control, I view it the way I view it when I'm not there. Is I view it as a night out where I would spend that much money on booze anyways. I would spend that much money on food. Let's get a cheap meal. They're going to give me free booze at the casino. And let's have some. Oh, and here's the last tip that I forgot to give you. Dealers don't make much money. And when you win at a casino, tip the dealer. They'll be nice. And here's the one trick I learned is, like, when you get a blackjack, sometimes it pays 6 to 5. So if you're betting $10, I think that means you win back 12. So you get back 22. They'll give you these $1 chips. I'm not sure if that math is right, by the way. I think it is. If you, rather than just giving them $1, I ask, but you can put that dollar in front of your stack that you're betting, and that is a bet for them. So, like, let's say you win now. Instead of getting a $1 tip, they get a $2 tip. And they usually they'll be very helpful, and how making them happy is going to make you more money in the long end. So remember, tip your dealer and the wait staff. Tip everyone. They need it. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please check out my Patreon if you would like. I do 4 walks a week. We do a lot of great stuff on there. I've lost almost 150 pounds thank you to everyone on there for supporting me for the last 15 months, whatever it's been. That's crazy. I love you all. I'm sorry it's tax season, and I'll see you guys next. Oh, happy Passover to all my Jewish friends. I love that I spend all of this podcast talking about money. I'm like, happy Passover, Jews. Happy Passover at the end of this week to all my Jewish friends. I'm sorry. Eat as much bread and pasta as you can before this week starts, because it is Passover sucks. That's what I'm ending this week with. Thank you. Love you. Go to casinos, and Passover sucks. Love you guys.